believe that actually worked.
By the first ones! You're alive! I'm glad I would appreciate it if you could... Reach Clearfell. Find the miller.
Well, that was unexpected. Now off to find this Miller bloke.
Back to the grave!
It's been many years since I saw one of these little beauties. Satisfying. Oh, no.
Get out of the way!
Not dead yet. I fought some big buggers before, but blimey.
Delta, please come inside.
Well, doubt these folk will have much gold.
Welcome to the camp. I fear this land. Bye.
A face like that almost makes me want to help for free. Almost.
Another for Mike. Stay safe, if you can.
Hey. Oh, never mind.
Cracks like that don't come from... Won't be crawling out of that again. That's ominous.
What happened? This that friendly.
No getting through here. A good mercenary knows when to cut and run. I won't end up lying in a field like this. Honing my skills one job at a time. Must be what I'm looking for. Should have expected a trap.
Hey, how's it going, Yonko? I don't know. Been taking a few days off, I guess. I was a little bit busy yesterday, so wasn't able to stream. Saturday I just wasn't really in the mood of it. Wasn't really sure what to build. And yeah, I mean, I kind of got something to test now, so that's why I'm streaming right now. I was also hoping that by today they would do some more bug fixing, so then maybe I'd be able to get back on my other character, but they did drop some bug fixes. They just didn't address that one in particular, so my character is still stuck there. But yeah, now I want to try building around armor stacking. I'm not sure if it would be better to go Tactician or to go Titan. Titan might just be better, but I've played Titan many times and I rarely get the chance to play Tactician, so that's why I'm going with this one this time around. But I wouldn't be surprised if the same concept is just better as a Titan. I'm also not sure what the math is behind converting your evasion into armor. In PoE 1, if you got increased evasion nodes on the passive tree, those would apply to your evasion, and then they would also be converted into armor. Like, it was all happening simultaneously. But in PoE 2, I think conversions happen first, and then you apply the corresponding modifiers. So if armor conversion is in line with that kind of method, then we wouldn't be able to get bonuses from increased evasion. Like, this node would only be applying increased armor, if that's how that works. We'll look into it and see what happens, right? But yeah, I want to go armor stacking, and then I want to use the spirit gem, where it retains the amount of damage that you've mitigated, physical damage. And then we're going to go chance to bleed, so that we can pop the physical nova, which will apply bleed, and then the bleed is going to trigger Herald of Blood, which is going to trigger poison. And then that's going to trigger Plague Burst, and the Plague Burst is going to apply poison. So to scale the physical Nova and the Plague Burst explosions, we're just going with the pure physical damage nodes. The nerfed block chance equals damage. And we're going Jack of all trades as well. So we're going to be going like even stats across all three. Hopefully that'll be enough damage to get ball rolling. But yeah, since we're doing that sort of thing and we're applying poison, we can also use Plague Bearer simultaneously. So for clear, it should be fine between the two Novas. For single target, I'm not sure. We're gonna have to like see what happens, right? Because I don't know how reliably we can stack the Armour physical Nova from taking boss damage, right? And the only way that I can see that I can force loading up Nova myself is through volatility. A lot of these nodes are volatility on kill, so that would be good for clear, but our clear is technically solved, so it's redundant. But volatility explodes on you for physical damage. And I know there's a support gem that gives you volatility on critical strike. So I'm thinking maybe going one hand plus shield so that we can keep on stacking armor. And then on the one hand we use a spear so that we can use, what's it called again? The one that generates the hazards, Spear Field. Yeah, we can use Spear Field for the multiple hits. And then hopefully that can crit enough where we can generate volatility, and then volatility can pop physical damage on ourselves. And then that can be mitigated so that we can feed into the Spirit Explosion. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. How have you been? How's the Amazon build going? Because I played a little bit on my Deadeye with the Forge Hammer, and I'm pretty sure I was doing it wrong. Like, your approach seems to be the correct one, where you just scale it with a large two-handed mace, and rather than hit multiple times, you just go for like one throw and you pop the whole pack. And then going crits makes a lot of sense if you're going down that route. I don't think I should be picking those up. I'm back to the Warbringer. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Ah, the last one. Azamites never give up a fight. I expected no less.
I think Spearfield is level 5. But even then, like... Yeah, it's level 5. Even then, we need a spear with, I don't know, above 10% crit chance, so... Not exactly something we'll get right off the bat. Minion build? Bonk Bros. The naming is pretty funny. I like that. Yeah, I know very little about minion builds either. I just know that like usually you want to scale your minion builds with like having a lot of minions so that you get more value off of your, I don't know, buffs that apply across the board. So usually you get a lot of spirit, which implies a scepter, unless you use like a unique or something, I guess.
There's a big knife you could channel your curious, I would ask.
And then I know minion level on your amulet and helmet is important, and on your scepter as well, I guess. I guess you can use scepter plus shield, because I don't know if you get any value off of a wand or a staff. Or a melee weapon, for that matter. And then I guess you'd have to look into what the skeletal brutes do mechanically themselves, and maybe there's something that you can scale there specifically, but I have no idea.
Renly's done a fine job
Chobber Chabber, yeah. That would be the other way to go about it.
Finn makes fun of my... I
remember someone mentioned to me how, despite it being a weapon for summoners, Chobber Chabber is actually a pretty decent mace for melee builds. Because the thing is, it gets like a ridiculous amount of plus flat damage. So then whenever you get any amount of increase damage off of your runes, it multiplies the value very far up. So if you get a 2-socketed Chobber Chabber and then you corrupt it for a 3rd socket, you're looking at a mace that has like I think 500 EDPS or something like that, which is pretty darn good. Let's go like, I don't know, 62 minimum and 108, I suppose. Plus 58, plus 78. And then if you put 3 iron runes, that's 1.75. So that's the combination of your minimum and maximum hit divided by 2 times 1.1. Yeah, it's like a 300 PDPS mace, approximately. It's pretty darn good. Especially for a level 33 mace. I guess you could look into using Tactician for that as well. Like, you could play a Tactician, and then you get this node, where you apply your main hand weapon to your skeletal brutes. And then you use Chobber Chabber. And then you're also playing melee yourself, along with the brutes. Not sure how good it would be, but as far as fun and thematics go, could work. Where was I going now?
Hello.
Oh yeah, I gotta get the spikes. No, I got the spikes. Okay, so we gotta go clear the thing in the tree. That's the plan? Yeah. Seems like a good plan. I'm guessing, like,
Now the others.
Best be quick about
off the
this.
top of my head, I think the brutes have some sort of slam attack that goes on cooldown or something along the lines of that. So perhaps you can play a mace build that generates fissures, and then you can use the brutes to stack slam attacks onto the fissures.
He's unconscious. Bye. The wound
Which might be
only
the
by
plan
accounts
once
of
again,
drink.
like I wouldn't be
Stay
surprised.
safe, if you can.
Okay, so now we have to go Grim Tangle. Blood Mage and do the Bleed Explosion tech. Bleed Poison tech. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Fey spirits.
You go Blood Mage.
The old magic still thrives.
Can minions
The way's
crit?
open. Please, hurry.
I think they can crit. But
Make your show.
I don't know, like, I mean,
Wish I could sing away my problems.
if the things that I tested with the Ravenous Swarm Mosquito Spirit Gem made it so where the minions would apply bleeding, and then the bleeding would trigger the Herald of Blood explosion, then I suppose you could have your minions apply bleed, and then get bleed poison explosions off of that. Blood Mage can scale ailment magnitude. Yeah, like the main attraction for going Blood Mage would be for elemental skills. Because you got that one node where you can use elemental... Your elemental damage can apply bleeding. So I don't know what elemental attack or spell you would want to use with that. Probably not spells, because if you use spells, then you can't use the heralds. So it'd have to be an elemental attack. And for better scaling on bleeds, it has to be an elemental attack that hits for quite a lot. I know crossbows are good for that. But Plasma Blast is good for a single target. For clear, you could use maybe grenades or explosive shot. And then if you use other weapon types, Mace is already hit for pure physical, so I don't think there would be much of a point to doing that. Oh, another thing is, if you're thinking about your minions, elemental magnitude counts as bleed magnitude. You mean elemental ailment magnitudes, or...? You might be... yeah, like... here, hold on. Yeah, it's not the ailment magnitude. Because the wording is pretty specific. Is it this node? Yeah. Elemental damage also contributes to bleed magnitude. So you have to deal elemental hit damage. And then it just makes it so that when you apply bleeding, like the same as though you were applying an amount of bleeding off of your physical damage, you can do the same with the elemental portion, and if it's mixed damage, it all adds up. That's how that works, yeah. But as far as scaling the bleed magnitude, you would be left at the same situation. And there's a slight note there as well. If you're planning on having your minions apply the bleeding, then unless they've changed it, which I don't think they have. Yeah, because the wording is increased magnitude of bleeding you inflict. So this wouldn't be able to scale the bleeding that your minions inflict. You'd only be able to scale that through support gems. And then, like, yeah, you can get minion damage. And that's going to scale the bleed as well, but as far as a multiplier on top of that, yeah, you wouldn't have options. Chobber Chabber fixed that. Good question. What does Chobber Chabber say? Is it this? Because I think Chobber Chabber says increases and reductions to your damage. Increases and reduction to minion damage also affect you. So it's a one-way sort of thing. This would only make it so that if you take the minion damage nodes, these ones would apply to yourself, yeah. But it wouldn't be the other way around. Which is fine, because if you look at the, what do you call it? The Bone Cage character that I posted, you don't necessarily need to scale your ailment that much. If you're scaling your raw physical damage, like with these kind of generic nodes that increase global physical damage, which applies to the explosions, if you can scale it to a point where your explosions are dealing enough damage, then you only need to use them as a trigger. You don't need them to be very strong. But then again, that is only for poison, right? Because if you go for bleeding, Herald of Blood can't be scaled. Yeah, Herald of Blood can't be scaled. It's tricky. Yeah, that's kind of a tricky one to go through. And I think Plague Burst can't be applied to minions. Rather than use the portal, I guess I can look it up here. Bursting Plague. Not support the skills of minions. Yeah, so you can't go poison and you can't go bleeding either. Man, that's kind of strict. I'm pressing all of the buttons, but none of the right ones. What's a good ascendancy to go with? As far as a concept, like, off the top of my head, I imagine you would want to go, as I said, Tactician, so that you get the node where your hammer damage is given to your minions. And then if you're going Skeletal Brutes, the Skeletal Brutes perform slam attacks, I think. So let me check that actually, just to make sure. Skeletal Brute. Stun primed enemies and Warcry on command. Initial strike. A strike that causes heavy stun. Oh, they don't have a slam attack? So they kind of do bone shatter. Heavy stun on enemies primed to stun. Upon causing heavy stun, it will create a shockwave. Yeah, it doesn't count as a slam. Warcry on command. But the Warcry intimidates. Intimidate is they take increased damage, I think. Yeah. That Warcry is pretty good. Consume freeze on enemies and allies. And allies, that's interesting. I wonder if there's a way to inflict freeze onto yourself. And I wonder what the cooldown on the Warcry is. Volcanic eruption. I don't know. Because I know volcanic eruption requires the target to be ignited. But I don't know if it has any limitations to things that you use yourself. I think it is to the things that you use yourself, not to triggered ones. Volcanic eruption. Yeah, it says melee strike skills you use yourself. So that probably won't work for minions. And since this has the payoff tag, it means that these minions do not build up stun. Primed enemies... Yeah, they stun primed enemies, and then a Warcry on command. Cooldown time... But this is for the, yeah, this is for the Bone Shatter. It doesn't mention the cooldown time for the Warcry. I wonder if you can just spam the Warcry. And I'm guessing Corrupting Blood is also something that can't be added to minions. It's a shame this isn't alphabetical order. Corrupting Cry. Supports Warcries. Huh. Support Warcries have less area, deal 25 of your strength. So I don't know if this would work on the brutes. And I also don't know if it does work, if it would use your strength or the quote-unquote strength of the minion instead, which would be 0, I'm guessing. But yeah, that's a little bit odd. Consumes freeze to deal damage. It's pretty strange that it doesn't show the damage of the Warcry skill. Is that something I can see here, maybe? Skeletal Brute. Command. Yeah, here's the command. 79 to 108. And it does have a cooldown. Okay. I'm also not sure what the mechanics would be like. Because, like, if you command the Warcry and you have 5 brutes, do all 5 brutes burn their cooldown, or does it just use the cooldown of one of them?
Skeletal brutes are large, hard-hitting minions that will stun any monster that has a near-full stun meter. When commanded, they perform a baleful war cry,
Only one of them used.
intimidating enemies and causing icy explosions from frozen targets,
That's pretty cool.
including allies.
Including
Skeletal
allies is the
brutes are
interesting
large,
bit.
hard-hitting minions that will stun any monster that has a near full stun meter. When commanded, they perform a baleful war cry, intimidating enemies and causing icy
Yeah, only one of the
explosions from
brutes
frozen
used its war
targets.
cry. So, what level is this? 52, right? Skeletal Brute 52 deals 79 to 118. 79 to 118 at 52. That's like 1/4 of a bone cage at level 20. I guess that's a good metric to compare it to. How much does Bone Cage deal at level 52? Okay, that's actually pretty strong then. The one downside is that they have to be frozen, and that you'd have to like actively command them, which is a bit more finicky than just having it happen automatically. But the damage is good. The radius is nice as well. If you do that, then you wouldn't need to scale your... Wait, because Chobber is attack damage, right? No, it's damage onto yourself. And then the Ascendancy from Tactician is... attack damage. Okay, so that wouldn't work either. If you were to use the war cry, you'd have to use something like Ice Nova to freeze the pack, and then you'd have the brute go in and war cry. And then if you're going to use the Bone Shatter, I don't know how much better it would be than just using Bone Shatter yourself. Or I guess I should say how much worse it would be. But you'd have to have like your squad of skeletal brutes, use Chobber, play as a Tactician, and then you would have to use skills that apply the stun. So it'd be like automating your Bone Shatter, more or less.
Just had to be fungus.
Wonder how you would go about building the Frost version. Could see it being Lich, maybe. What does Warcry on Freeze do? It kind of pops them, kind of like a Herald of Ice effect. And the damage seems pretty good. It's comparable to a Bone Cage. I imagine it doesn't have a crit chance, which is fine because you can't really... Oh, it does have a crit chance. That's a pretty high one. But I don't know how you would scale the crit chance. But yeah, you can see it in the demonstration.
Brutes are large, hard-hitting minions. Skeletal brutes are large, hard-hitting minions that will stun any monster that has a near full stun meter.
That's the Bone Shatter.
When commanded, they perform a baleful
That's the War
war
Cry.
intimidating
So then,
enemies and causing icy
Frost
explosions
Nova,
from
Frozen, Pop.
targets, including allies.
Yeah. The Warcry one seems pretty interesting because it's like very different to other things you can do to build your character. But it's a little bit more demanding on inputs on your side. If you go for the Bone Shatter route, then yeah, you can play Tactician, you use Chobber Chabber, you attack yourself with I don't remember what attack it was. Maybe it's Earth Shatter, but I know there's a mace attack that builds up a decent amount of stun. So you'd use that skill, or you would go around priming monsters for stun, and then your brutes would be spamming Bone Shatter at them. And then if you want to build around the Warcry, I don't know what ascendancy you would go. I'm guessing maybe Lich, but I'm not sure. And your plan would be for you to personally freeze targets, and then you'd have to manually command your skeletal brutes for them to move in and use their war cries. Those are the two routes.
All in a day's work.
Man, I hate it when this happens. I know there's Mausoleum Creator over here, but sometimes I struggle finding the two areas.
Another notch on the helmet.
There we go. And we can walk there. It's fine.
Bag of bones.
Weird. Oh, it's gonna link back up over here. I see it.
Leave this place. Raven, I need you.
Well, you don't see that every day.
Oh, hey Corvus, how's it going? I just realized my microphone was off. Yeah, about what you said, I remember I used to stream on Twitch as well, more
This place raises
seriously,
the hackles on the back of me neck.
in quotation marks, I guess, with like a webcam, and I would follow a schedule quite strictly. So part of it is to my own fault, but since I've been playing PoE, I don't really get a whole lot of reception in Twitch. And it's not really that I care about the number being high or whatever, but I like having people to talk to. So that's the reason why I just barely started multi-streaming, like when this patch began, basically. And to my surprise, I've been having a better reception on YouTube than I did on Twitch. Twitch just feels like all I do is ban bots. That's about it. So it just gives me more work to do. But yeah, welcome here. I'm trying to build a Tactician. I'm not sure if Titan would be better. But whether it's Titan or it's a Tactician, the passive tree is basically the same, and the concept is the same. If anything, I've got the suspicion that Titan would be slightly better, but I rarely get the chance to justify playing Tactician, so that's why I'm doing it on that one this time around. We're just stacking a whole bunch of armor. We're going iron reflexes and glancing blows. We're converting, or not converting, we're gaining deflection rating off of our armor. And then all of that is so that we get the spirit gem that stores some of the mitigated physical damage, and then you can pop it like a nova. So then once we pop that nova for physical damage, we're scaling the physical damage here off of our shield with block chance, even though it's nerfed, and through Jack of all trades. And then we're applying bleed with the nova. And then the bleed will hopefully trigger Herald of Blood. Herald of Blood is going to be linked with Plague Burst and with Poison, so we're also scaling Poison a little bit. And then that'll give us Chaining Clear. But for single target, we're going to be using a shield plus a spear. The spear's not going to be dealing much damage, but the spear's going to have a high critical strike chance so that we can use Spear Field. And then we can use the support gem for volatility on crit, because when the volatility pops, it's physical damage, and then we can mitigate that physical damage to reboot the spirit gem once again. Yeah, that's what I was going to mention as well. I'm fairly new to the multi-streaming thing, and as he said, I'm sure there's some kind of plugin so that you can see both chats at the same time. But I haven't really bothered with looking into it. And part of me wants to just consider dropping Twitch altogether, but I don't know, like, it's conflicting feelings. I've used Twitch for such a long time that it's a little bit strange to consider not using it anymore. So I'd have to look into the whole multi-chat thing. But yeah, that's also the build plan, which it's interesting, which is good enough for me to explore, but it also sounds a little bit janky, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty bad or kind of clunky. We'll figure it out. I don't know when I should start getting spears, because I gotta find some spear that has like 10% crit chance. Like Twitch most as a streaming platform. Hard to get a following. Oh, you played a lot of League? That's cool. I used to play League when it was like in open beta or something, and I played it for a good solid 2 to 3 years, I guess. Can't remember what the last character that they added was for me. It was somewhere around like Wukong, probably. Maybe like a couple past that, I think. Darius was added
Your soul will join
a little bit after that as well. But yeah, roundabouts there is when I stopped looking into League of Legends.
the spirit's hunger.
Linking your screen in the chat. We got the teammates. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, yeah. That would definitely help.
End your meaningless life.
Linking the screen at the end gave the enemies a chance to shit talk. Yeah, that's an experience as well. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've used Twitch for a long time. I don't really know what games I would say I was most active in during the whole Twitch timeline. I know Magic the Gathering was the one that I streamed, but prior to that it was like, I don't know, Hearthstone. Path of Exile 1 had a fair share of streamers as well. It must have been mostly those, though, for me at least. So there's like this whole concept of the quote-unquote culture in Twitch. But I don't even know what Twitch culture is like nowadays compared to what it was before. Since it used to be like the only streaming platform for gaming. So there was a lot of like identity behind that. It's midnight for me.
What is this? Graves, Isabel, Torko, Callum, the family of Count Lachlan of Ogham. My family! This doesn't make any sense. They're dead! Those bastard Eternals! I must make them pay! I must make them suffer!
6 in the morning? And you work in 10 hours, so it's like the afternoon shift. Yeah, you should head out to bed then, for sure. Yeah, evening shifts. Oh wait, is my math wrong? 6. Yeah, it would be like 6 in the... No, 4 in the
Shite like
afternoon.
this is why I never wanted a family.
Is my OBS dying, or is it just PoE? Okay, OBS is also dying. In bed? Oh, you're dedicated 1 to 2 hours of YouTube. I see, I see. Yeah, you got a routine then. That's good.
You know what they say about found money? Oi, a word. Fresh tracks.
I don't think I've had a nighttime shift before. I guess when I was an English teacher, I did have some lessons that I would have at nighttime. Yeah, I guess that counts. Kind of. But it's not really a shift. Like, it's not a set amount of hours back to back.
Gotta stay quick on my feet.
Wonder how I'm gonna manage this build, like at what point I'm gonna want to swap into it. Because I think the bare minimum you need is Iron Ward, Herald of Blood, and then Plague Bearer. And all three of those are low-level spirit gems. But the issue is that you'd have to get 90 spirit total. I'll have to see if I can garner 60 spirit off of the gear that I have in my stash. Otherwise, it'll take quite a bit.
All in a day's work. I better watch me step around here.
don't even know what attribute I'm supposed to pick. I don't know. We're gonna make a salad out of all the attributes that we'll use anyways, so... I think intelligence is the one that I need the least for the time being.
Am I seeing things? I'm gonna get ya! Oh, sure done it now. This is bloody work. Still, I never did like birds.
+2, wow. That's a nice crossbow. Maybe I should start getting the chance to bleed here. 5, 5, 10, so that's 20, which this then turns into like 50-ish. Maybe that's a better start. Because I think the next cluster that I want to get quickly is this one for the increased chance. Yeah, the core of the build is going to be like this thing and then this straight line. I guess I'll go here.